Hi, Pierce here. Today I would like to show you guys my wooden aircraft carrier. Now, this design is based off the Japanese carriers Zuikaku and Hiryu from World War II. These were some very notable fleet carriers that participated throughout many battles throughout the Pacific theater of the war. The main reason why I built this carrier was to find a cheap and easier way to build a carrier than using Lego pieces, because I built a Lego carrier previously and it just took up so much pieces that I literally couldn't. It literally took up all my Lego collection, and I couldn't make anything else. So I wanted something that looked great, worked well with my Lego army, and allow me to build other things at the same time. So this does things much better. Though the Lego carrier is actually minifig scale. So you gain some, you lose some. So starting off for the ship, from the front we have an AA mount here. Now let's see at the stern. Another AA mount. And then we go down to the sides. For this side here, we have some hangers. This side we also have more hangers, and then we have angled smokestacks. Now, one important thing to note is that after building this carrier, I found out there was some inaccuracies. Noting with the sort of open hanger design. Now, this open hanger design is more on the American side. American carriers are much more known to have like open hanger spaces than Japanese carriers, which have closed hanger spaces. Now, a reason for these closed hanger spaces is to avoid like if the ship is in a storm, to avoid like water getting into the ship and causing some serious problems for the ship's buoyancy. I guess that's it, because like I believe that they also armor up the hangar too. The Americans actually just so the Japanese did it for that reason, but at the battle midway, this feature really bit back on them, because when American dive bombers like dropped bombs and the bombs like penetrated the flight deck, the bombs went into the hangar, detonated, which detonated the fuel and bombs inside, and all that explosive force was contained within that armored box, and it was directed into the vital parts of the ship, causing serious damage. And I guess that's the reason why some carriers, though, like on the outside, like Kago or Kagi, they seem to be can get back to port and repair, like they were scuttled. Maybe because that serious propulsion systems were literally destroyed. And yeah. American carriers, they have open hangar systems, probably more susceptible to violent waves and stuff, but don't really know about that. But I think the theory is that if a bomb penetrates the flight deck and gets into the hangar and explodes with all the fuel and bombs inside, the explosive force would be directed outside, like directed out from the hangar to the outside, and not be directed into the ship. So vital parts of the ship wouldn't be suffering from serious damage, which increases the survivability of the ship after taking a hit, which is a very key aspect of damage control on ships. Japanese carriers are also known to have Microsoft Microsoft micro very small super bridges. This carrier has a bit of a bigger one, but I kind of like it because it just looks cool for me. So yeah. The carrier also features like angled smokestacks over here, and this is something you usually see on Japanese carriers. For the placement of these, the reason for the placement of these smoke air smoke exhaust areas is that well, there I guess the general idea is trying to make flight operations as easy as possible, because you don't want like smoke getting into like the flight crews or pilot's way, because like if you have like let's just say you have a smokestack around here, I guess the smoke would like get over all this area, and like planes getting ready to take off would get covered with smog and smoke, and ground crew and pilots would be confused where they would go. Confusion leads to mistakes, and mistakes lead to accidents and unfortunate deaths. So you don't want that happening. Also, if you're coming for landing, if you have smoke, like your smokestack or exhaust coming out from the back here, you might actually blind pilots trying to come in for landing. So I guess because I've been watching some documentaries, and I guess that is what they're trying to get at. Something. The placement of the exhaust here would probably allow the exhaust to just go down here, and like because usually they're more curved down here, so the smoke is usually meant to just like keep low before like rising away to keep the maximum visibility on the deck and planes coming in. So yeah. Oh yeah, and this is like a flagpole to like wave the flag of like an admiral or insignia of the nation. But this is a Japanese carrier, yeah. These things here, these trapezoid shapes, I put them in as like imaginary places for like AA mounts. So I can imagine this ship being like fitted out with like tons and tons of AA. This looks so cool. This area here on the flight deck, I think this is it here to put this here like seen on other Japanese carriers to help guide pilots in for landing. Got a elevator here, here. Slot elevators to bring planes back into the hangar. Most likely this one. Not really sure what the middle one is, but the front one is actually I think usually meant to get. No, actually. Yeah, it can get confusing, but I know that like certain hangars are used at certain periods of time. So yeah. A major feature on a lot of these Japanese carriers is that they have like this red circle here. This red circle is like a Japanese part. If you look at the Japanese flag, there's like a red circle, and I guess that denotes Japanese identification, which is really it looks aesthetically pleasing to me. But I think in some accounts, like in documentaries, when the American pilots were like attacking like Japanese carriers, they would like aim at these red spots. Like these red spots would help them guide their bombs, and yeah, that probably led to many bombs finding their mark and hitting these carriers. Another design scheme which I really like was that some Japanese carriers, I don't know which ones, they have like a arrow pattern here, so I decided to also follow that too. In terms of construction, just one interesting thing is I was also very fascinated about the the metal aspect of the flight deck of Japanese carriers. So I really wanted to paint that, and I know that like if you just randomly paint it, you're gonna just get a lot of messy marks of gray going over. So I used a very a very well-known technique of taping here, for here, here to make a border, so the gray paint won't go over, and I just paint over this area without going over the tape and beyond. So when I take off the tape, I get this clear, straight gray area without getting into this area, which gives this aesthetic effect, which I really like. So coming down to construction, I originally made this ship in 3 sections. You got the lower hull, the hangar, and the flight deck, and all of the other details like the A mounts, the bridge, the flagpole supports, and other A mounts. So I primarily used the bandsaw to cut out each part, and for the lower hull in particular, I used a router to get this sort of outward effect like you would see on a boat, but it didn't get this like original angle look, which was problematic because I really wanted this seamless look, but I kept with it for now. And then I glued together all these pieces with these support pieces and these A mounts together with wood glue. Use clamps to secure all of these pieces together to avoid any gaps. Keep the connection strong. Waited for the glue to dry, and then that's where things get interesting. I know that I really didn't like that sort of effect of that curved effect, because like it didn't really match up with this already curved, like I already had the hanger like angled, and I didn't like that discontinuity of the line. So what I did was I got a sander and sanding like automated sander or something, and I literally sanded this entire section so this would be one continuous sleek surface, and I got that result, and I really liked it. But then that left the bow and the stern to look weird, so I also had to compensate by also sanding them too. And this is how I got the this curved hull design, which I really like. See at the back too. And then I did the paint job, and that was it. So this is a look. This is my look at my Japanese wooden carrier. I hope this inspires you to make other ships out of wood or do something creative and fun. Thank you for listening.